कहना, गहना का कहना, गहना का कहना, गहना का कहना, गहना, गहना का कहना, का कहना, गहना, गहना का कहना, का कहना,
Hello and welcome to Gehna Ka Kehna. These times are such that I've been taking long breaks thanks to COVID. But yes, we are all getting back slowly and steadily. They say queen maker but never queen. Well, the women of nowadays are changing that, and I have somebody who's not only a queen maker, she's a queen herself. Let me introduce you to Mrs. Aruna Mookhey. Hello Aruna ji, namaskar, good morning.
Hi Gehna, so nice to see you.
So
After
nice to
so
see
long.
you. I
So
know,
long.
I
Oh
know. When did we first meet? क्या 20 साल हो गए?
God. 20 साल से ज़्यादा हो गए. I
सच्ची?
think your daughter was around 10.
हाँ, तो she's
Around 10.
30 now. पूरे 20 साल
Okay,
हो
20
गए.
साल हो गए. हाँ.
My God.
I remember that you told me she's 10 when I asked you how old is she.
Oh my God.
After 20 years, 2 decades we are meeting.
Oh my God. But you've become very, very thin. इसका जरा राज बताइए.
So the first step was I was around 82.
हाँ. But
kg.
आपकी माशाल्लाह height भी तो है ना वैसी.
But I used to feel heavy, though not look heavy.
हाँ जी.
But then for 2 years I was going up down to US to help my daughter there. And somehow the other अपने आप ही वहाँ पे, you know, you work a lot
Yes.
and you do everything yourself. So I just lost weight without even struggling to do
Realizing
that.
it. Yeah.
And I was very happy. So I lost about, I think, 15 kgs at that time.
Oh.
Came back very happy that chalo, I've lost weight. Then 2 years ago, I developed a gallbladder problem.
Uh-huh.
And I wanted to, treat it naturally. So I came in contact with a doctor from the US, Dr. Arun Sharma, his name is.
अच्छा.
And he put me on a raw food diet,
Okay.
vegetarian raw food diet, which I did for very diligently for 3 months. And I lost
Doable?
weight. It's doable. It's doable.
You didn't crave for cooked food?
Not really. No, he allowed the dinner to be cooked.
The dinner,
Yeah.
surprisingly, and not the lunch.
No.
Contrary to what
So
we
no,
perceive.
you don't eat cooked food for breakfast. You don't eat for lunch, but dinner you can have a normal meal.
Mhm.
So I followed that for 3 months, and I lost weight a lot.
And that also took care of the gallbladder?
Not really.
Acha.
Not really. It just I think it just delayed the whole thing a bit. And I was warned by doctors in the family that ultimately you'll have to go through an operation. I thought I would conquer that, but finally I had to go through the operation, which almost became an emergency.
Oh my God.
And then again I lost weight. So
Uh-huh.
that is the
So you were telling me some 50-60 blouses you had altered?
yeah, because I couldn't wear saris. I love wearing saris.
Yeah, that makes the two of us.
I
And
love
we are
wearing
twinning
saris.
today so
Yeah.
beautifully.
And I love your sari club for that reason.
Yes.
Because nowadays we have become so used to wearing everything else but the sari.
But the sari. I
And-
wonder why.
Yeah, and it's sad because in our times in college or while we were growing up, saris was the only option we had.
Right.
And so we were so used to wearing proper cotton saris, or the whole day we could drape a sari and the sari would not move from its place.
Absolutely.
But then you start wearing Western dresses. You always wore, but it was not so on a daily routine.
Right,
kind of a thing.
right.
So now I wanted to wear sari, so I called this tailor of mine who's very, very old.
Ji.
And in fact, he had stitched all my blouses. So I asked him to come and alter them, and he took them. He was shocked. He said, "Ki Didi, your blouses I had to cut off 4 inches from all sides."
Oh my God.
And Gehna, now I am at the same weight that I got married.
Oh my
which
God.
was about 58 kg.
Oh,
So,
Jesus Christ.
yeah, so I'm back to my.
I also want to get back to the same weight.
Yeah. And coming to the diet that I followed with Dr. Arun Sharma, the
Ji.
best part was that when you lose weight, your skin becomes loose also.
Yeah. So that's where gymming comes in. You need to do
I have
weights.
never believed in gymming.
Okay.
So this diet actually it does not let your skin get loose.
How's that?
Something because it's natural, and the body accepts natural food, fresh food more than the cooked food.
That's right.
So, although I've been very particular about my diet all through my life, I am a yoga person. I am not a gym person.
Right.
I feel yoga gives you more flexibility,
100%.
and I feel that somewhere internally you became, it makes you more healthier
100%.
than gymming.
100%. I agree.
So I've never believed in gymming, but yoga has kept me on for the last 45 years, I think so.
So do you practice it like in a routine or a rhythmic fashion?
I do it myself because my parents were yoga teachers.
Really?
So
I remember you looking after your mom so well. God bless.
Yeah, she was. So they inspired me actually. I was never a yoga person.
Okay.
They inspired me.
Okay.
And when I had my second child, my son, I had put on weight, and my father, when he saw me, he was actually shocked because he had never seen me with so much weight on.
Right.
So he kept pestering me that you learn yoga, you will lose weight. And I used to tell him, should I look after the kids or should I now do yoga?
Right.
So don't
insist.
pressurize me for this.
Yeah.
But then he said, ki nahi, thoda sa kar lo. I actually told him, okay, teach me basics, which he taught me.
Uh-huh.
But then I got hooked on it and I lost weight. And
so there's a misconception that with yoga you cannot lose weight. You can. The trick is that you have to be consistent and diligent
and you have to alter the diet
as well.
Also.
Right.
So somewhere down the line you need to have a check on your diet.
Right.
I have not been a very strict person
In
as far as
terms of-
diet is concerned.
Right.
I eat everything. I'm not concerned about the fried foods and things like that.
Yeah.
I like what I like and I eat what I like. But at the same time, I'm not a person who will overeat or indulge unnecessarily.
The key lies there.
And since the last couple of years, I would say, we have switched over to eating early.
Yeah.
And I think that is also very important.
True.
That you eat at least 2-3 hours before you go to sleep.
100%.
So we finish our dinner by 7.
Right.
And our kitchen is wrapped up after that.
Right.
And then by the time we sleep, it's about 10:30.
So that's an
I'm an
early
early riser
sleeper
also.
and an early riser.
Early riser. I get up, I meditate, and
So what does an average day look like after the meditation?
in
In today's scenario.
average day at the moment, I've been into trainings also.
Yes,
for that.
and we're going to come to that. We're going to go to the
So,
past.
Earlier I was busy in that. Now, since we are at home most of the time, I do online trainings.
Right.
So the day is a little more relaxed actually. Morning I get
That's
up.
how the travel.
I get up at around 4 o'clock in the morning. I then do my meditation, which may be 40 minutes, 30 minutes, depends.
Ji.
Then I go back to sleep.
Acha.
I go back to sleep and I get up around 5:30. So an hour sleep after that.
तो आंख लग जाती है?
बहुत अच्छे से. 5:30 I get up, 5:30, 5:45 I get up. Then I have my bath. and I then go either for a walk or I do my yoga, which takes about 45 minutes. Then you have your fruit, then you give a little gap, then I do some part, which our Guru's Gita, which is a very beautiful rendition of how Shivji explains to Parvati the importance of a Guru.
Okay.
So that we do, which takes around 45 minutes again. And then I have breakfast. And that's how the day starts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little about how and what your trainings are all about.
Yeah. So Gehna, I got into this training program when I realized that the girls today need a lot of not only external grooming but internal strength to be able to cope with marriage, life, as balancing life as in career and home.
Right.
I realized that long ago, and in fact my daughter encouraged me to get into this, and in 98 I started with grooming sessions for girls.
This was pre-Yukta becoming Miss World
Yeah.
or post?
Pre.
Pre.
Yes.
For
98.
those who don't know, she is Miss World Yukta Mookhey's mom. But this is all about her and not about Yukta. And the strength that you must have given her, the role development that you must have done in inculcating all the things that made her the winner. So I want you to talk about what you have done and how you encouraged her to become what she became.
Yes. So when I started in 98, I started with announcing workshops for girls,
Right.
in which because I'm from Nirmala Niketan, and I have done, oh yes.
Yeah, but you did home science, you
I
were
did
telling
home
me.
science.
I have done my fine arts from there.
Acha. So in our time, Nirmala Niketan was the only institute which was like a finishing school for girls getting ready for marriage.
Right.
That was the sole objective
Solo
of
objective.
girls coming in there. So girls from, elite families were enrolled so that they become. And it was a French institution actually.
I did not know that.
Yeah, we had a French principal, and then we had a most elegant Parsi lady, Miss Dattubai, who was there to teach us all about grooming and things like that. So when I went through that, I realized that how important it is for a woman to be able to carry herself well.
Right.
And after marriage, I also saw when we went to Oman, where my husband was working at that time, that the Indian women folk, were very conservative and very, I think, not confident enough to be able to deal with deal with people who are in that higher echelons of society.
Right.
So, like, we used to meet the ambassadors, we used to meet the ministers, local
Right.
ministers, and it was a nice, very, very informal group. But at the same time, I found women sitting in one corner, sometimes not even coming for the parties.
I see.
I think there the seed was sown in my mind that there has to be some institute, some training where women or girls need to be trained.
Right.
So that became the basis of my workshop. And I started off as general grooming, makeup, sari draping, communication, etiquette, table etiquette, all that. Normal.
Right.
But my cousin, Dr. Rakesh Sinha, who was an excellent motivational
God
speaker.
bless his soul.
And
Yes.
yeah, I miss him so much.
I know. And I've attended one session.
You
of
have?
this, yes.
And he, apart from being one of the top gynecologists and pioneers of laparoscopy in India, this was his passion. So he then suggested to me that don't make it only women program.
Uh-huh.
You have to include men as well.
Right.
They need grooming too. And cut it short to making it like a communication skill workshop.
Right.
You can add etiquettes, you can add table manners, business etiquette, you can add all that. But don't make it a women only thing.
So that kind of broadened the horizon.
Yeah. And then I started, making them very tight And I was so happy that I used to get clients from corporates, CAs, executives. In fact, some of the corporates used to call me and say, we want to promote some managers, but they need grooming. So personal grooming I was asked to give to them.
Uh-huh.
And so that encouraged me a lot.
Right.
This happened till the COVID thing struck.
So that's a long
Yeah,
journey.
and I have been fortunate to be able to conduct programs for Reliance, for well-spun industries, various industries, and then institutes like MET, where Shefali Bhujbal, who's the head of that institute, she invited me once to Nasik to be able to conduct programs for the MBA students.
Okay.
And while it was a 4-day thing and different batches were there, around 200 students in each batch, I was coming. Then the students requested that, ma'am, please conduct workshops for our teachers. They need this kind of grooming. Because my grooming was not superficial. It was not the upper layer of being looking nice and everything. It was something to do with your inner strength and inner self. So then they called me again for 4 days for the teachers. Wonderful sessions I had with them. And I saw some teachers actually weeping when you talk about emotions.
I'm sure they must have all pent up.
And there I realized that emotional counseling is very important.
Right.
And unfortunately, this kind of training is never given in any institute. But very happy to say, Gehna, that yesterday I was watching a news program, and there is one university who has actually introduced this soft skill and emotional counseling in their program.
I think you shared that.
The first time.
Beautiful
Yeah.
that was.
And I was so glad that at last somebody has realized this
Yes.
is so important.
Yes.
And when we talk about women, I get carried away by this topic. When we talk about women, I have gone through personally a very emotionally charged up journey,
Right.
But when you talk about girls today, even today, with all the education, with all the exposure, with all the awareness, there is something which is still not healed. And I realized that it is to do with your childhood trauma. It is to do with your inner child.
Right.
And then I developed a program for that. And I've had amazing results with women on a one-to-one basis.
Lovely.
Yeah. So I'm very passionate about it, and I'm very, as far as I can go, I would love to reach out to women and help them in this.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Tell us a little about your journey with making Yukta Miss World. It's always the person in the background who जब फोटो फ्रेम होता है, और ऑलवेज से ये फ्रेम है और ये स्टैंड है.
अच्छा.
तो जो स्टैंड का काम करता है वो इन कुर्सियों पे नवाजा जाता है.
अच्छा.
तो बिकॉज बाकी को तो सारी दुनिया देख ही रही है. वो लोग who are the makers, उनको कौन नवाजेगा? कहना आती है.
So nice. I'm so happy that you are there for
Those
bringing
kind
out.
of, yes. Tell me, how did in a little capsule? Tell me, how did it all? What was your role?
Okay, so first of all, I had no intention of ever, leading Yukta to this kind of platform. But one thing I had swear to myself that I'm going to make both my children excellent speakers, public speaking men, which I started to groom them when they were very young. So let them participate in elocution competitions, inter-school, road track clubs, all these places I would take them. And even if they didn't win the first slot, the first position, I would ask the judges, what are they looking for in a winner? And many of the judges would actually tell me, this is what we look for. So instead of concentrating on the content, you have to concentrate on how they speak.
Right.
So I started to work on myself as well as my children.
Oh, lovely.
And so then they started to, actually win prizes on that. I think that was the base of her being able to face the audience or be on the stage very confidently.
Right.
Throughout the school life, there was no such talk in the house.
कभी सोचा ही नहीं.
No,
Kabhi?
never. Because of she being good at things, her studies as well as her art, I wanted her to become an architect. But by the time she reached her 10th, she became quite a burnout case as far as studies was concerned. And she actually announced that I don't want to study anymore. And then she joined college. When she joined, and she was always very tall in class.
Yeah.
So she
Just
was
like the mommy.
she,
Is she taller than you?
taller than me. She's almost 6. And she was always teased as being Amitabh Bachchan.
अच्छा.
And she was very upset about it. She couldn't get her size shoes, she couldn't get her size clothes. Things were very difficult for her. And being teased in the school was not good enough.
Right.
But by the time she reached 11th, Sushmita Sen won the Miss Universe.
And a tall girl.
And a tall girl. And there I think something clicked in her mind that my height can be used here.
Yeah.
By the time she reached college, girls, they sort of bloom,
Yes.
and everybody started appreciating her, her personality and saying you should do modeling. And secretly she started to contact some people like Meher Jesia and all to get into modeling, which I overheard one day. And I then sat down with her and I said, what do you want to do? She said, I want to do modeling. I said, well, it's not an easy thing.
Right.
And I would appreciate if we go through somebody who's known to us.
Right.
And we have a cousin who is into fashion designing. She used to work in Sophia College. I asked her, she said, have you gone mad? You don't know what is there in modeling? Don't you ever think about it? Then I contacted another cousin who's Geeta Rao. She's editor of Vogue magazine. So she said, I will send my driver and I will introduce her to a photographer and let's see how it goes from there. So I sent Yuta and she met this photographer and then she came back. She was very upset about it and she said, no, it's not happening. But then the Miss India
Pageant happened.
Miss India forms and announcements came in the paper. This was in her final year by the time. And she wanted to then apply for it. And I said, it's hard work. You think you can do it? She said, yes, I will do it. And that's how it happened.
And the rest is history.
Yeah.
Okay, so quickly 2 minutes. तुसी पंजाबी बोलते हो?
हाँ जी, बिल्कुल.
हाय.
मैं पंजाबी बोलती नहीं हूँ, मैं पंजाबी गुरमुखी पढ़ भी सकती हूँ.
की गल कर रहे हो?
हाँ जी.
In fact, कल मैंने एक गाना पसंद आया सी and I'll send the link to you. Beautiful song, Kamli, and it's trending. And I started trying to read the script. It's a beautiful script. And as the singing was going on, I could make out. So I'm also reaching there.
So this is thanks to my mother. One day she decided enough of convents. You have to live in a normal household and learn the basic house skills, home skills as a girl, as a daughter. So she sent me to Jalandhar, to one of my father's friends' parents' place. And I was admitted in one school there where Gurmukhi was important to learn. So I learned there, though I was horrified by this kind of school and atmosphere. 2 years but I learned all my skills, life skills there, in fact, because at the age of 11 you go to a gurdwara. In Punjab it's very common.
And you're born and brought up not in Mumbai?
Not in Mumbai. I have been all over. My father was in coal mines, so we
Okay.
And so mostly my education has been in boarding schools. In those days convent boarding schools.
Ji.
But these 2 years, so I learned how to cook, do jhadu pocha. They used to make me do in the house. Do all the make rotis in gurdwaras, which I learned to make roti very fast. So all those skills I learned there in 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the language.
And the language. Okay. The language I was very happy that I had learned. You know, being a Punjabi, you feel proud
Of course.
that ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ
आंधी
ਗੱਲ ਵੀ ਕਰਨੀ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
and ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪੜ੍ਹਨੇ ਵੀ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ. So when I got married, my father-in-law used to read Janam Sakhi, and he used to read it in Urdu,
अच्छा
but he had a Gurmukhi one also.
so you
And
used to-
evening, you know, the whole house, all the children gather together. An evening session is with somebody reading out from Janam Sakhi,
जी
and they are in story form, everything.
अच्छा
So I told him I know Gurmukhi. He was so thrilled. So that was my duty.
so nice.
Sit down and read Janam Sakhi.
Lovely. Okay, so
Huge joint family.
from there I'm getting the signal that our time is running out.
Achha ji.
But before that, I need two quick questions. What are future plans? You've been there, done that. What are lovely innings? Agge ki.
Again, I love traveling.
जी.
So I want to go, before thinking about going abroad, for travels, I would like to travel all around India.
Same here.
Remote.
Same
And
here.
so we can do it together.
Let's do a few trips.
I would love to do that.
Yeah.
So last year I went to Meghalaya with the girls group.
Yeah, girl gang. Huh?
Yeah, girl gang, and that was fun.
Hmm.
So now I'm wanting. Then again, COVID happened, so
Yeah,
travel
yeah,
was not there.
yeah.
Now we can. So traveling is one thing which
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to,
Right.
and of course carrying on with my trainings and reaching out to women.
So you
On
can
emotional-
make your plans in such a way that you can have your workshops at a remote distance where
I
you
would
can
love that.
travel with your workshops.
I would love that.
So I'm going to put you on to the lady you met the other day, Captain Sumisha Shankar,
Okay.
who does that, and maybe who knows?
Oh,
Sara
lovely.
Sara,
Oh, lovely.
things will happen, and we will
that would be
travel.
wonderful.
And so nice talking to you like this.
Gehna, it's
after
been my
2
pleasure.
decades.
It's
Thank
been
you
my pleasure.
so
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
bringing me on to this show.
You totally deserve it. Thank
Thank you so much.